Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux race number 2. It's our second of our short races today, and that is P2 on the grid. Luke Hartog won race 1 yesterday, but unfortunately, due to a 5-second penalty, was demoted down into P2. So our pole position sitter, Maurice Schuring, managed to get his second win within this championship, and he will start on pole position again. We've got Carlos Rivas then, who will start in 3rd position. The Luxembourgish driver. Driving for Team Black Falcon. Looked very quick yesterday, had a poor start, and was struggling with the braking, but if he gets that nailed today, could be a real danger, that's for sure. Livery of the weekend for sure, Yellison. We'll start from P4 today. We'll start on the 2nd row of the grid in the Porsche GT3 Cup car. And then just in behind him then, the number 9. And this is Jackson Verhoeven. Jean-Pierre, his dad, raced yesterday. Jackson's behind the wheel this time. As you heard the klaxon in the background, that means we're about ready to rock and roll. So they'll do a full formation lap, and then they will indeed all head to the grid for a standing start. 15-year-old Schuring then is on pole position right now. And well, he got the job done yesterday via a penalty, but can he get the job done today via the race? Van Dierendonk then in P6. Was very, very fast yesterday. Expecting good things. And a little bit out of position here, Van Eindhoven. P7. Also received a penalty yesterday of 5 seconds and managed to make him finish in 4th position. So as the grid girls all walk off of the grid, frees up the space for the drivers to indeed go racing. 30-minute timed race, standing start for some frantic Porsche action. Michael Kuhl in P8 will start on the 4th row of the grid. Very, very warm day here in Germany. You see the sun is out, no sign of rain here whatsoever. Bas Barenberg will start in P9. He's in the number 5. Thumbs up, yep, cool, calm, collected. So final checks then indeed being done here. 3 red lights still on the grid, so that means 3 minutes. Thierry Vermeulen will start in P10 on row number 5 in the number 69. So there is our pole position car. A bright green yellow car. Luminous yellow. Number 14. Absolute superstar in the making. And then at the back we've got a couple of the GT4 cars. Porsche Club Sports. They're on camera, that's it. Give us a wave. Get excited. It's race time. This is what we're here for. Super Sunday is racing all day today. These drivers actually got one more race to do after this as well, or most of them. The front 2 do not. So the 2 pro drivers being Luke Hartog and Maurice Schuring, they will not be taking part in tonight's long 55-minute race. But a chance to earn some points here, with 15 seconds left to go before they do indeed embark upon the formation lap. All of these pristine looking Porsche. And here we go, off we go then for the formation lap. And as we've seen, as I keep mentioning, it takes so much effort to get warmth into the tyres. So this lap here is vital, first formation lap is vital that they really work the tyres. You can see them weaving left and right. You can see them indeed braking as well, trying to get heat into the brakes. Especially Carlos Rivas. Rivas yesterday made a huge error that lost him a couple of spots down towards turn number 1, and just really, generally struggled on the brakes around here. So here we wanted to try and get those brakes up to a very good temperature as early as possible to maximise his potential performance in the race. As you can see them all starting to weave here as they come out of turn number 4. And watch out for that number 140, Huub van Eindhoven. Definitely out of position in P7. Will want to be battling his way up the top near for potential podiums. So watch him come through the pack. Now here is your starting grid then. So Maurits Schuring and indeed Luke Hartog, the 2 pros in this championship, will start on the front row. Then we've got Rivas and Gillissen on the second row. We've got Verhoeven, Van Dierendonk, Van Eindhoven and Kool. Barenberg and Vermeulen will be your final row for the top 10. And then we have got Van Rie, Godin, and then we haven't got Van Laer or Redant racing in the final position. Redant, I believe, will be in the car here, Ayrton Redant, who is actually the team principal's son. So yeah, we've got 2 cars on the grid. I believe they're actually sharing responsibilities across the weekend. And you will see that come to effect later on in the final race, where they will indeed have to do driver swaps. So that's going to be fantastic. There is a pit window from 25 to 35 minutes in the race, where every driver will be held for 2 minutes, regardless of whether they've got a driver change or not, to keep it fair for everybody. So I'm looking forward to that. That should be frantic and exciting. And here we are then, Nürburgring GP circuit, 5.1 kilometers long. Around the final corner then they'll grid up, and then we're good to go. And yesterday actually, Maurits Schuring, he drove off into the distance. He was off, like in the formation lap, and then he was held on the grid for a lot longer because everyone else was a little bit sluggish. And has he learnt from that yesterday? And he's kept the field quite bunched up here because he got mugged off into turn number 1. And Hartog took the lead of the race. So has he figured there's something new out here? Has he gained a bit more experience and realises actually it might be worth all of us getting here at the same time? Don't really want to have my car static for the entirety of the formation lap. Here we go. They're all now gridding up here, waiting for the final cars to indeed get into their grid slots. In the background there we go. So you're going to see those lights all go red very, very shortly. The green flag is being waved here. We're ready to go for our second race of the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux edition. 5 red lights. And we go racing here then at the Nürburgring GP. And you can see already then Schuring's trying to get across here to Hartog. But I think Hartog's going to do exactly the same as what he did yesterday. Squeeze then almost onto the grass. And Hartog then is going to move out slightly left to try and stop the advances then of Schuring. And Schuring here has not got a good start again. So Hartog takes the lead of this race. Schuring, though, is he going to be able to make a move up the inside here, down in towards turn number 3? I think he's going to go for it. No, he's not. He decides against it. And Hartog then has done, what, 2 races in a row. So qualifying, not everything for Luke Hartog. And he has reactions of a cat. So as we go then through turn number 4, down towards turn number 5, it is the lead then for Hartog. It is second position for Schuring. And Rivas has got a good start here. He stays in P3. As you can see in the background there, Huub van Eindhoven is up 1 position already. He's up to 6th spot. And Gillissen's moved down 1 position actually, and it's Verhoeven that's moved up into what would be P4. So a very, very good start there by Jackson Verhoeven. Through the hairpin then for the very first time. And, well, to be expected, the 2 pros are at the front here. And, well, can Rivas keep tabs on them, and can he potentially make a race of this? Although those 2 are already off into the distance, as you can see. And then Huub van Eindhoven. He's got to try and attack Gillissen as soon as possible. If he wants to get a podium, wants to get up towards Rivas in that 3rd position car there, the sort of dull blue and black car there, the Black Falcon team driver. And that's we're on board then with Huub van Eindhoven. 140 is the car number. And then behind him, the number 63. of Nicholas Van Dierendonck. So Van Dierendonk's the driver that has indeed had a pretty poor start here as well. So we've had 2 changes of position, and that is 1 for the lead, most importantly, as it stands. Again, everyone coming through then that final chicane. Very, very nice. Step towards the final corner. You've got to set yourself up nicely for the big, long straight here. This way you can get overtakes done down towards turn number 1. And it looks like Luke Hartog has managed to indeed defend his position. So half a second is the lead then for Hartog. Schuring second, Rivas in third, 1.7 seconds just off the pace here. Verhoeven then is in 4th position as it stands. And then we've got Gillison. And then we've got Eindhoven. And then we've got Van Dierendonck. So that is your top 7 as it stands. Van Dierendonck, although he's been overtaken, is just staying on the back of the pack here, and he'll be trying to take advantage of Eindhoven moving forward here as well. But as you can see here, Schuring, it took Schuring maybe 4 or 5 laps to really start to reel in the race leader yesterday or last night. And right now, it looks like it's happening a little bit quicker here. Yes, they are very, very close indeed. So Hartog leads, but Schuring is not far behind. Of course, we know how quick Schuring is. He's had 2 pole positions this weekend out of 2. Down towards the hairpin, not quite close enough, I don't think, to make a move here. He might move over to the right just to get into the sort of headspace of Hartog, get him thinking about anything other than driving forwards at this point. But Hartog's done what he needs to do here. Up through the Schumacher S's here. You don't really want to grab too much curb on entry. That's where we've been seeing drivers making mistakes, although Hartog's done a relatively good job there, but look how close Schuring is. Schuring is right underneath that rear wing. He's waiting for that opportunity. He's going to try and force Hartog into a mistake. Hartog runs a little bit wide there as they come through the right-hander before we have the back straight and the elbow up towards the final chicane. And you can see here that Schuring is very, very close indeed in that slipstream for sure. And he's going to pull out. He's going to have to be forced to go wide here. He is. He's going to go around the outside. He's going to go late on the brakes, and Hartog again squeezing him out wide, so he can't really make an overtake opportunity. Almost touching as they come through that final chicane. And while we're coming up towards the end of lap number 2, and Hartog is held firm. But Schuring is super, super close. In that slipstream again, so you are going to see them 2 close up. Rivas in 3rd position. In 4th then is Verhoeven. We've got Gillison, Van Eindhoven, Van Dierendonck, and then Kool is in P8. Schuring not quite close enough. He goes late on the brakes, but actually he's going to lose a bit of time here. And Hartog just positioning his car in a perfect position so he cannot be overtaken. So there's some really good overtaking opportunities around the Nürburgring GP, but it is one of those sort of driver circuits where you can get the best out of the car by your driving ability. Just position the car in the right position and you cannot be overtaken. So Hartog starting to show his experience over the 15-year-old behind him. And I say experience, he's 17 years old, so yeah, still a very, very young man. A very bright future for both of these drivers here. It's great to see that the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux is giving these drivers the opportunity to showcase their skills, and I'm sure we're going to see these drivers in many, many different formulas over the next few years. But the lead then is nothing, pretty much. They're almost touching each other all the way around this circuit. Van Eindhoven not really able to make any advances on Gillison as it stands. Again, loads of curb being grabbed there by Hartog, and not too sure if he's been watching the racing over this weekend, but that is where people have been making mistakes, grabbing curbs on entry. Looks like there's some dust being kicked up there in the background. And here we go, Van Eindhoven then going to go around the outside of Gillison. Oh, this could be a beautiful move. Not a lot of room to manoeuvre. We'll have the inside line then for the right-hander, and Van Eindhoven moves up into P5. And that is a sensational overtake. But you can see how much time they lose around a circuit such as this. As soon as you make an overtake, you lose half a second to a second to the drivers in front. And now Eindhoven's got a couple of laps here where he's got to try and crawl up to the back then on P4 and P5, which is Verhoeven and Carlos Rivas. Rivas currently holding on to that podium spot. Front 2, though, are probably as close as they've ever been here. Schuring then trying to get the power as early as possible. It actually does maximise the exit of that corner. So he's going to have the biggest momentum going down in towards turn number 1. And Hartog, is he going to go defensive now? Yes, he does. He goes pretty early. Makes it very obvious to Schuring that he's going to take a defensive line. Schuring, though, following through nicely here. This is an absolute clinic of how to drive at the front end, although a bit of a mistake there. Hartog just a little bit slow on the apex, which Schuring had to react to. Hasn't lost too much time. And you can see Hartog there just getting those two wheels on the inside of that curb, helping rotation of the car. And Schuring didn't, so Schuring now just dropped a couple of tenths. Van Eindhoven already creeping up to the back then of the P4 and P3 battle. With 23 minutes to go, still got plenty of time in this race. So we've got a battle for the lead, and I think we're going to have a three-way battle for a podium position here. So plenty of excitement still to go. And here's a replay then of the start of this race, and Hartog is just a machine, isn't he? On the start line anyway. So yesterday he did this exact move. It wasn't even as good a start as yesterday. Today he was just phenomenal. He's already alongside, so he only just about got a nose up the inside of Schuring yesterday. But today, full car, up the inside, lovely old job. Rivas managed to find his braking marker yesterday, run wide and lost 3 positions. But yeah, sensational start there from Hartog. But now he's going to be under pressure for pretty much the whole race here, because Schuring is not going to let this go, that's for sure. So like I said, Luke Hartog won the race yesterday, crossed the line in first position, but he had a 5-second penalty for track limits abuse, which indeed handed Schuring the race victory. And the same happened to Van Eindhoven, who's currently 5th. He finished in 3rd, but he ended up 4th because of the same penalty. 21 minutes, 50 seconds to go. And the leaders are still Hartog with Schuring just in behind. .4 seconds then, so it hasn't been more than that, really, for the entirety of this race. Rivas now 3.3 off the pace, Verhoeven 4.3, Van Eindhoven 5.3, so there's a second between 3rd to 4th and 4th to 5th. But Eindhoven was 3 seconds behind, so he really is closing in. But we did see how long it takes to get an overtake here, so Rivas could use that to his advantage. Again, currently in P3, we'll want to be hoping that the battle for P4 goes on for a few laps. So curbs really being used here on the entry to that final chicane. And again, this is where people are getting their penalties as well, so you've got to be ultra careful. Down towards the hairpin then. Schuring not close enough to make a move this time out. Hartog doing a great job defensively here. And we are having a little glimpse into the future of motorsport, ladies and gentlemen. These two have got such a bright future ahead of them. So it looks like Rivas has just been able to drive away ever so slightly here. So he found a little bit of form. Van Eindhoven not really closing in on Verhoeven. And this is the corner that Van Eindhoven made that unbelievable overtake over Gillison. Well, here we go. We're seeing Hartog. We saw some dust being kicked up. Yeah, the gravel just being kicked up there. Not going to have lost too much time. We're seeing many drivers do that across this whole weekend. But it's just going to make the track a little bit messy on exit off the hairpin now. But here we go then. Schuring still very, very close in behind here. Maybe a late dive at some point. Not going to happen this time. And again, we have got a battle for the lead and a battle for 3rd position. So the podium spots are not decided, that is for certain. A third of the race down. 19 minutes, 40 seconds to go. And you can see that Schuring's now 0.3 seconds behind. So he has gained a 10th of a second on that previous lap time. But again, not really close enough to make a move. You can see Hartog there doesn't decide to go defensive. So he recognised that indeed Schuring wasn't close enough to make a move. And that way you can maximise his speed around the exit. Of course, if you go into a corner defensively, you're going to lose time. Because you're going in there more of an acute angle. You're not opening out the corner. You cannot get on the power early enough on the exit. So he realised he didn't really have to defend there. And now they're both using that groove on the inside of that left-hander. Very, very clever. I'm really surprised we're not seeing every driver do it. Again, it's not going to completely turn your car for you, but it does help the rotation of the car by clipping the inside of that corner. And just sort of drags the left wheels left with the rest of the car. Hartog there. Looks like he's run a little bit wide out of turn 6, down to 7. Schuring, though, not really close enough to take full advantage. So this is where he made a mistake on the previous lap. Did Hartog, ran a little bit wide onto the gravel. And he's close to doing it again there. So it looks like he's genuinely on the limit right now. A few nerves then down on the pit wall. we come through the left-hander here. And then we've got this downhill right-hander. You have to hit this perfectly to set yourself up. And actually, Schuring's lost a bit of time here. So Schuring now nowhere near as close as he was previously. Verhoeven is very close, though, to Rivas. So Rivas under a little bit of pressure for potential P3. Van Eindhoven hasn't really been able to creep onto the back of them. So he'll be hoping that these two start getting involved with each other. Again, a lot of curb used in that final chicane. Oh, the fans are back out again. So I'm trying to figure out where that is. Is that an apartment block? Or is that part of the stadium? Because they were there yesterday. Good to see them here again. Rivas third, Verhoeven fourth. Van Eindhoven is in fifth. Front five kind of gapped everybody else. Gillison then is in sixth position. Just in behind him, though, is Van Dierendonk. So top seven. Kool is in P8, 15.6 seconds off of the race lead. And with just about over half this race to go, Schuring just dropping off the pace here. Hartog has done a hell of a job defending this lead, but now he's in a bit of a groove here, and Schuring not able to go with him. This is close, though. Rivas there making a bit of a mistake. And Verhoeven needs to realise that yesterday Rivas struggled in braking. Struggled hitting his braking points around a few corners at the Nürburgring GP, and it was pretty much every single lap. So if he puts a bit of pressure on Rivas here, there's definitely a mistake in him. So Verhoeven then down in towards the hairpin. And you can see he's on the brakes so much later than Rivas. So Rivas then, of course, after yesterday's exploits, is just trying to get the car around here and trying to be comfortable. Race leader come through turn number one. Such a unique corner. Downhill, there's a big dipper in there as well. So you do lose all sensation of the car, the feel of the car. And you've got to run it out nice and wide so you can get on the power as early as possible. Because you know, the reason why you use the width of a circuit is because it means you can open up the steering earlier, which means you can get all four wheels facing the right direction, and that means you can get the power input down a lot quicker, a lot less likely to lose the rear of the car that way. As we come through then that final chicane, I'll tell you what, Verhoeven is looking very good here. I think Rivas has got a hell of a job on his hands here. If they really do, though, start duking out Van Eindhoven, we know that he loves an overtake, Van Eindhoven. And he will take his opportunity, but he just wants to hope that these two do not, well, that he wants to hope that Verhoeven doesn't overtake him straight away, like one attempt and that's it. He wants it to make it 3 or 4 attempts so he can just creep up to the back of the both of them. And yeah, it looks like Rivas is the one really starting to struggle with his pace at the halfway point of this race. Very warm track conditions today. So there's no let up as well, no sign of any rain today. And Rivas, I think Rivas is really struggling with his brakes again. Because you can see there, Verhoeven really did just creep onto the back of him quite easily, to be completely honest. So out of 4, down in towards 5. And Verhoeven again is able to close that gap. Down towards 6, Verhoeven opening up the corner nicely there, which means he's going to be able to get on the power a little bit earlier than his rival Rivas in front of him. Not close enough down towards the hairpin. You can see the Hartog here still holding on to that victory. And well, this is going to be the race later on this evening. We've got a 55-minute race for the 2 pros who are 1 and 2 right now. They will not be in the race, so to get one over on your fellow driver right now could prove vital going into the final race of the weekend later on this evening. Again, Hartog still leading the way. And to be fair, if anything, Schuring's now starting to re-close back in. So he's had a couple of laps here where he's just taking his time, and now he's re-closing in. Through the final chicane they come. And Verhoeven again, just stuck in behind. And this is perfect for Van Eindhoven. 13 minutes, 30 seconds to go. Plenty of time to work with. And this is absolutely spot on. This is exactly what he wants. 1 second then Hartog managed to gap on Schuring. Yesterday finished about 1.4 seconds ahead. look at this, Van Eindhoven just creeping up behind them here. This is where it's going to get very, very interesting indeed. You can't overtake people cleanly around here. Like, you lose so much time. Obviously, you can overtake... obviously you can indeed overtake, but it just costs you so much time. So Luke Hartog then has got a track limit warning. And car 14 and car 11. So those three cars have got track limit warnings. So Luke Hartog. Gillison and Morris Schuring. So the front two have both got track limit warnings here. They're around about 5 seconds ahead. And my race director is actually working today, so that's good news. So I'm going to be able to get all of this information from for you all, which is fantastic news. Whereas the last couple of days it's not been working properly. So as we head then through the final corner, Van Eindhoven. Still in P5. The gap between the leaders is 1.1 seconds. So Schuring again is just sort of taking a little bit of time off of his lap times. You can see here with Verhoeven's having to go here, side-by-side action then for the podium position. And while Rivas is going to defend this for sure, yes, he has got the inside line through turn 2. As they come down towards turn number 3, is Verhoeven going to have another bite on this cherry? No, he's not. He goes late on the brakes, but has to indeed avoid any potential contact. And now, this is what Van Eindhoven wanted. He wanted these two to go at it, so it gives him an opportunity here. And Verhoeven is actually under a bit of pressure here. And as you can see, Van Eindhoven pulls alongside. And oh, he's going to potentially make a move on both of them. Lay on the brakes around the outside, then on Rivas. And I think Van Eindhoven is going to get squeezed here, but will he keep it in there? No, he will not. I thought he was going to keep the nose in, but there's a mistake then by Rivas. Runs a little bit wide. And now you can see that Verhoeven's getting involved here as well. Van Eindhoven going defensive from Verhoeven, trying to attack Rivas. Down in towards the hairpin we go. And, well, I tell you what, Van Eindhoven is able to get on the brakes so late. He's made up one position here. So Verhoeven attacking Rivas has cost him. So now this really is the battle for the podium spots here. Rivas runs a little bit wide there. You can see the Van Eindhoven's taking a completely different line through there, but they both got through there nice and quickly. And this is where the move was made last time by Van Eindhoven. And, well, this corner could be renamed Van Eindhoven corner. Because he's going for a little nibble here once again. Tries to open up the right-hander. Because this is a long run now. It's all flat out up and towards the final chicane here. 9 minutes 44 seconds. And, well, things are starting to warm up, ladies and gentlemen. Things are starting to warm up. So if anybody else wants to know about the track limits and stuff like that, if you're watching the stream right now, you can open up another tab, and if you go to Race Control DTM 2020 video, it will come up with all of the race control stuff. So it works most of the time. It wasn't working for me yesterday, unfortunately, but that might be a regional thing. But yeah, today it's working. So you get to see exactly what lap times people are posting. As I say that, we've got a move here by Verhoeven and Van Eindhoven. He's got to try and keep his nose on the inside here. Rivas looking in his rearview mirror thinking this is absolutely perfect for me. What a move that is by Jackson Verhoeven. He's going to hold on to P4 now. And well, Van Eindhoven's got to do all that hard work again. And Rivas has been given a lap and a bit now of respite, so he's all good. And look at the background then. Gillison maybe having a little option as well. So this is it. Mistake by Rivas. And Verhoeven tried to take advantage here, but the power, how early Carlos Rivas was able to get on the power there has really got him out of jail. And, well, it then put the pressure on Verhoeven. See both making a little mistake there on the exit. Down in towards turn number 5. But at this point, we've seen already that round the outside seems to be the best kind of line for Van Eindhoven, but he got squeezed by Carlos Rivas, so he indeed had to get off the power. And then he runs down towards the hairpin here, and this is now the turn 1 corner where Verhoeven has just retaken the position. And as you can see here, the difference between this move and the move that happened before in terms of Carlos Rivas is that, yeah, Van Eindhoven just wasn't able to get the power early enough here on the outside. And Verhoeven said, thank you very much. He goes out nice and wide, opens up turn 2 as best he possibly can. And as you can see there, Van Eindhoven now making little errors, runs out wide on the exit of the Schumacher S's. And as we run then towards the leaders, 7 minutes, 30 seconds to go. 7.5 minutes to go then in this race. And while Luke Hartog, starting P2, has moved his way up into that prime position, the race win position. Yesterday it was taken away from him. It was taken away from him. And today, he's got a warning, but as it stands, he will win this race. I'll tell you what, is Rivas under pressure here again? Looks like he is. He's got to be careful. So he really is struggling with brakes in the car, and I think he's missed the apex again here. He is. He's going to run out a bit wide. Verhoeven, though, not quite close enough to take advantage. So this is not over, ladies and gentlemen. 6 minutes, 50 seconds to go, and absolutely anything is possible here in this race. So Luke Hartog now just needs to manage this gap now. Doesn't need to be doing anything too crazy. He needs to make sure he stays within those track limits, though, as well. Because that is what it's cost him before. 5 seconds after a warning. But the beauty of the situation is right now that they both have a track limits warning as well. So, yeah, Hartog knows that they're both on the limit here. So that means that, you know, Scheuring cannot push, cannot take, cannot, you know, use the fact that he will get a warning to cut the track to gain a bit of time. So they both are in the same boat right now. Gillison also that in P6 under a warning. So these three then still duking it out for that podium position. Who's going to get it? Is it going to be Carlos Rivas, the driver from Luxembourg? Are we going to see Jackson Verhoeven, or are we going to see Huub van Eindhoven? Huub van Eindhoven, another driver who had a podium taken away from him yesterday due to the track limits abuse himself. So he'll be wanting to try and get some retribution. That is a fact. All three are very, very close indeed here. And Carlos Rivas, he has had pressure from minute 1 in this race, and he's dealt with it relatively well. As they come through the final chicane here. Just don't want to be grabbing too much curb through there at this point. It'll unsettle the car. Tyres are not in pristine condition as well. But as they all come round the final corner, it is very close indeed. Van Eindhoven has a double toe here, but I think it's Verhoeven you want to be watching out for. He is right underneath that rear wing of Carlos Rivas, down in towards turn 1. So only 5 minutes to go, and I think Verhoeven's decided, yep, I'm going to go out nice and wide, open up this corner, and he's going to try and do the switchback. The whoop-de-wop, I tell you what, he's just about got a nose alongside him here. He's got to be brave to go around the outside. And well, last time he tried this, he lost a load of time. But I tell you what, he's got the inside line down towards turn number 3, and he's going for it. He is going for it. Rivas then has to back out, and I think you'll find that Van Eindhoven, well, he tried to take advantage, but indeed, Carlos Rivas had the nous there, had the experience levels to realise that he's going to be attacked from 2 drivers for the price of 1. Gets across and covers it, but Verhoeven taking full advantage there and getting up to P3. What a move that was. Here we go. So they are side by side, and he's given it up here. Verhoeven's like, do you know what? I'm going to give it up for turn 2, but I'm going to make my move down towards turn number 3. I'm going to open up the corner for turn 2 so I can get a nice drive down towards 3, and then I'm going to go up the inside. It's done. I'm setting it up here beautifully, and it is a very, very good move. Carlos Rivas indeed had to move out to the right there to avoid any potential contact, but yeah, he was fully alongside. There we go. You can see him pulling up, late on the brakes here. Hits the apex, doesn't run out wide at all, grabs the curb. That's a really good move. A really, really good move. So the number 9 then moves up into that podium position. And Dad will be happy. Very, very happy indeed. This is a dad and son team. Jean-Pierre Verhoeven and Jackson Verhoeven. And Jackson has just got the job done for P3. 3 minutes, 30 seconds left on the clock. They're not long at all. So we are about to start our penultimate lap here. And around the final corner, Luke Hartog has just put a car between the two of them, a lap vehicle albeit. but it's going to be enough here. It's a Hartog without any more warnings or penalties. He's good. We've actually just had a warning for the number 6 as well, of Carlos Rivas. I think that might have been due to him cutting the corner down at turn 3 because of the overtake, but again, it's just a warning, so he's all good. I'll tell you what, Rivas is trying to bite back here, so Verhoeven now the one going defensive. And Van Eindhoven, he'll want to see a load of tears here because he'll want to try and take advantage of both of these. So Rivas is going to be furious with how he's lost that position, but ultimately Verhoeven's just set him up there perfectly. And now it's all about how can Verhoeven keep his bottle. Oh, Van Eindhoven there looking for a lunge up the inside, and actually he's the one that loses time because he had to back out. He didn't want to create any contact there. Rivas was not giving that position up, that's for sure. Very aggressively holds on, but he's also able to keep tabs with P3. This has been a fascinating race. It really has been a fascinating race. It's going to be interesting later with a 55-minute race with a mandatory pit stop in the middle. You know, these three are the three that we're going to be looking at potentially winning in that race. So through the hairpin, and I'll tell you what, they're going to catch up to the GT4. I'm nearly at the end of this lap here, so that could make an effect on the outcome of this podium position for sure. Through the Schumacher S's then on the second to last lap. I think they're going to catch up to it around about the final chicane. Or maybe the final corner, but it should be this lap, that's for sure. Van Eindhoven, he'll be loving that. He'll be seeing that in front and thinking, yep, let's try and take full advantage of this situation. So they've really struggled to make overtakes, unless it's through sector number 1. Rivas just in behind. And actually you can see here that the number 700 has not got out of the way here, which is definitely going to slow down all three of these cars. They all pull out to the right here, and well, will all three of them get through this corner? Looks like they will. Very good work there by the number 700, and that will be Ayrton Redant. So yeah, good job there. But this is now given an opportunity here for Carlos Rivas. So Rivas is closer than he has ever been before on the final lap of this race, and he knows if he can get this job done into sector number 1, that there will be no response from Verhoeven. Verhoeven, though, with all the pressure on his shoulders of the world right now, to try and hold on to this podium position. The front two, Luke Hartog looks like he is going to take victory here today, unless he indeed does abuse the track limits on this final lap, but I think he's going to be okay. Maurice Schuring is going to finish in P2, but who's going to get P3? Is it going to be the father and son team of the Verhoevens? Are we going to see Carlos Rivas, or are we going to see Van Eindhoven? But as it stands, Verhoeven's just made a nice little gap for himself here. This is a perfect gap to manage for the rest of this lap, that's for sure. Rivas then late on the brakes. Oh, running wide there into the gravel. And well, is that going to be a warning turned into penalty? We will find out soon enough. But because of that one mistake here, you can see that Van Eindhoven was given an opportunity to make the overtake. Does he keep his nose in there? Oh, he's squeezed off circuit there. And Carlos Rivas, with an aggressive nature, holds on to what will be P4. Van Eindhoven then not really close enough to take the position now, and that might indeed peter out that battle. But Luke Hartog started P2 and again had a wonderful start. Manages to get himself up into the lead, and well, he's just managed this race. The first 15 minutes, though, were frantic, because Schuring would not leave him alone. Schuring was hanging around like a bad smell. But Luke Hartog has done what he needed to do. He's got one more corner to negotiate here. And well, yesterday he had the race win taken away from him due to track limits. But it's not going to happen today, because your race winner will be Luke Hartog. Superb stuff by him. Schuring will finish in second spot, 1.5 seconds off the pace. And while Verhoeven under all sorts of pressure here, you can see then the Van Eindhoven almost running into the back there of Carlos Rivas. But it will be Verhoeven who gets the podium spot. Rivas is in 4th, and Van Eindhoven in 5th position. Gillison in 6th position. We've got Van Dierendonk who will finish in that 7th spot. The door's open. We've got an excitable Luke Hartog right now. He is absolutely buzzing. He's waving to all the fans. That is great news. So he's been waved through. He's allowed to do a formation lap here, or a parade lap, sorry, at the end of this race. He's earned that right by winning. Here we go. We're going to have a little replay here. So, of course, we saw Rivas dip his left tyres into the gravel on the exit of turn 6. While Van Eindhoven trying to take full advantage here, and ooh, it's naughty. It's naughty. It's right on the limit. No one received a penalty. So he's got away with that. But Van Eindhoven will have every reason to feel a little bit aggrieved. But one person who doesn't give any cares in the world right now to that situation is this driver here, Luke Hartog, who, yeah, so disappointingly had a race win taken away from him. Again, rightfully so, for abusing track limits, but today he's going to take the victory all for himself. I think the two drivers there are sharing a little bit of a respect moment. And that's great to see, because look at this. You know, ultimately, these aren't seasoned veterans. They may be pros of this circuit right now, these two, but they are 17 years old in Luke Hartog and 15 in Maurice Schuring. You know, when I was 15, I was collecting Pokemon cards. Now, I was a bit younger than that. What was I doing at 15? I was completing my Panini Premier League football sticker album. I was playing, I don't know, Call of Duty COD 4. Like, that was what I was doing. These drivers are just, you know, they're making their way into the world of championship racing. But they're showing respect to each other. And, wow, the future's so bright for these drivers, honestly. 15 years old is Maurice Schuring. Crazy to see. It really is crazy to see. But as indeed they come across the start-finish line in the replay here, you can see a very well-deserved race victory for Luke Hartog. And that's the good thing as well about this weekend. Okay, we haven't got packed stands like we have done in previous years, but we do have fans at the circuit. That's the main thing. And, you know, these parade laps are vital because you go around and it's celebrating with the fans, but it's also a hand up and thank you for turning up to the, you know, because racing for yourself is amazing, but to race for somebody else, to have people cheer you on, there's no substitute for it. There genuinely is no substitute for it. It's, yeah, it's a strange feeling. It really is. But here are the official classification and of the results. Hartog wins, Schuring second, Verhoeven in third, Rivas fourth, Van Eindhoven is in sixth. We've got Gillison in, fifth, Gillison sixth, Van Dierendonk in seventh, Kuhl is in eighth, Barenberg in ninth position, and Vermeulen finishes in your top 10. We've then got Alexander Godin, who is in 11th, Stephen Van Ree is in 8th position. So there you have it. There are our podium positions. And, well, I'm going to leave you with the podium celebrations because, of course, I can't do it justice. We have an announcer there. We have the champagne being sprayed everywhere. But what a race it is. And normally, with all the other championships we do, this is the second race, and that's it, done and dusted for the weekend. Oh, not for the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux. We've got a 55-minute race this evening that will indeed close out the show here at the Nürburgring GP. Make sure that you do indeed stay tuned. And next up, actually, is the DTM action.